CQ Raynet. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information, with additional information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard, and if you're not acknowledged, then please try again. If you miss your turn to call in, I will call for the strains at the end of the UK and international sections. So as usual, I'll begin taking check-ins to the net in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 9 in their call sign wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4NRC. See, second call, any stations figure 9 over. See, then it's on to the 8th. Let's have stations with figure 8 in their call sign, please, over.
Golf 8, Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Eight Echo Yankee, good afternoon, Mike. Any other 8s, please? G4NRC, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have 7s. Stations figure 7 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Mike 7, Victor Sierra Delta, name is Stephen, Game Valley Group.
G798, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel.
Seven and the 8, we doubled. Were you staying with me or in and out, over?
From G798, yeah, I'm staying with you, Greg, over.
Fantastic. Thanks, Graham. Move out of the 7s, then into the 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. And I'll see. Second call, any stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have 5s. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. See, we don't have many 5s in the organisation, so we'll rock straight down to the 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ, Trevor in Hertfordshire.
For KUJ, good afternoon, Trevor. Any other 4s, please? G4NRC, over.
Golf 4, Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Phil.
HUF, good afternoon, Phil. Let's go down to the threes. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Right, I'll see. Second call, any stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. For an RC, then it's 2s. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate 2s. Please call now, over.
2 Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, calling from Medway.
Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, good afternoon, Colin. Any other 2s, please? G4 and RC, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. See, second call, any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. E4 and RC, second call, any stations Mike Zero of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. E4 and RC, second call, any Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, over. For an RC, until it's Easter weekend, let's have any UK stations who missed their turn in to call in. Please call in now, over.
G4 NRC, Lima Alpha 6 in the Mike, name is Hans. Will be in and out, but we'll be listening through.
India Mike, G4 and RC. Okay, good afternoon, Hans. Copied you as in and out, and apologies for sending you Storm Dave. So do we have any UK or international stations who've missed their turn to call in but wish to do so? Please call now. G4 and RC, over. And RC, nothing heard. Okay, reminder as always, Graham G7NEH is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube, and he does appreciate the like and subscribe buttons being smashed so he knows the service is being used and is welcome. It's a time constrained net today, so we need to finish between 16:40 and 16:45 at the latest. Next weekend we'll however be back to a normal length net. Since this week contained April Fool's Day, good news items are a little hard to find, I can trust anyway. So the focus this week is on the migration of RAYNET-UK email addresses and personal files from Microsoft to Google, which took place last weekend. The account setup and email migration is complete, so the next step is in encouraging members to complete the sign up to the new service. Everyone was sent notifications of their new login details to the personal address we had on file if they were not active users of their RAYNET-UK addresses prior to this on Office 365. So if you've not received anything, then please check the spam folder of your inboxes before asking up through the group, county or zone structures to see if we had the right personal email addresses on file for you, because the whole aim was to improve the communications with the members. So with that, let's see what thoughts we've got from everybody suitably full of chocolate today. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from GADY. No, I've not eaten my chocolate yet. I've got some nice Kayleys in the fridge. Do like to cool it down. After Dave has gone by, we're down to 10.8 Celsius, 1017 millibars, 45% relative humidity, 91% cloud cover, and it's dropped to 15.4 miles an hour at the moment from 281 degrees. And a couple of unusual incidents. We normally get roads blocked and things like that and flooding, but we've got two rivers that are actually totally blocked by trees that have come down in Storm Dave and completely blocked the river. That's giving them a challenge to sort out. I had a quick look. The only one I haven't got yet is the group controller email, but I'll do some more searching because I don't know whether he's actually got those set up yet. From G8DEY.
Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC. Right, yes, this is going to be a source of confusion, and I know the migration team, so I don't name him so he doesn't get thrown under the bus. We're working on the messaging and setting up of those next. So while everybody has been moved to Google for mail, so that we still have accesses to service like Microsoft Teams, a much reduced number of group controller and county controller addresses are being maintained for the wider membership, so they can still access the facilities on Microsoft, which are just a little bit different than Google. So, for example, Google Teams will allow you to record a meeting, but Google Meet will not let you record a meeting on the plan that we're on. So there is a little bit of divide and conquer going on there, but it is being got around to. I just think it's just making sure people do start signing up onto the new service now, Mike. And rivers blocked by fallen trees, not quite the same flow rate, but M6RBM told me earlier that our local canal has had a tree fallen across it, which is going to get somebody at some point today, I'm sure. Right, let's go to another bit of Cheshire, and Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. A very good afternoon to all on the net. Nothing as dramatic as blocked canals and rivers at this end of the county. We were relatively untouched. Winds got up a bit last night, but no damage at this end of the county. So that was good. We escaped the brunt of it. And all signed up after the new Google system. That's all working quite happily. Received the first sort of news email on Friday to the Google account. All worked rather smoothly. And also set up a temporary station the other week for the cadets. We're currently parading from an alternative location, as a lot of squadrons are nationwide, due to electrical inspection issues and lack of the ICRs on the buildings. They've all ran out and they've let them let them run out and not had them retested, and they've gone, oh dear, and stopped us parading at our usual location. So we're at Plumley Village Hall. So I set up the VHF station, 4.5 metre portable mast, and the Simoco Go box, just to show the cadets how we can operate off-grid and in alternative locations. And I did mention that Plumley Village Hall is probably a rest centre on the Cheshire East emergency plan. So yeah, they certainly enjoyed that. Over.
To Sierra Delta G4RC returning. Okay, yes, I've forgotten what rank he is, the ATC officer where I work has suffered from the lack of the ICR, and then they had a different problem that needed a door fixing. There was a difficulty in getting facilities management out to deal with that as well. So yes, it's all looking a bit difficult for the various cadet forces. It's not just cadets that are struggling with this. But yes, you've got to have your electrical inspections in order, and hopefully nothing gets found when they get around to it. Glad you've set up and everything's working okay for you. And in terms of the Go Box test, well, depending on how tomorrow morning goes, I might be operating some HF portable from a location that's not a park on the air, but still a bit of a park, just to try and get some of the bugs worked out for the data systems, which is the aim anyway. I haven't dealt with that mast inquiry that I passed you last week yet. I just need to get past Tuesday, and then life might feel a little bit more normal. Okay, thanks for that. Round to Graham, G7NEH, and I see the viewer numbers crept back up a bit last week. G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G7NEH, good afternoon Greg, good afternoon to all on the net. Yeah, viewing figures for last week did creep up a bit, 34 views and 2 likes. That's what we got last week. I'll let you know this week's viewing figures on the next round. Yeah, new setup today, and seems to be working okay. I'm going to have to get myself some headphones, I think, because if I try and monitor through the speakers, it does create some echo through the microphone that I use to speak over the YouTube channel on. So there we go, and we're all Mac set up now. So the new Mac Mini is fully set up, and that's what we're using at the moment. Okay, not a lot else to add. So back to you, G4NRC, G7NEH.
Let's take the Google first, and then the bad, which is the bad news as far as I'm concerned. The account opened up beautifully, no problems whatsoever. Changed the password. Google Gmail, however, is not coming up to scratch, shall we say. If I can send email from it, I can send email to it from outside, and it gets through. But what isn't happening, and I noticed this straight away, if I try and address a new email to someone within the RAYNET organisation and put, for instance, Greg or Mike or whatever, I don't get a selection to choose from. I have to put in the full RAYNET-UK address before it will send. And the other thing that didn't happen, I didn't get the news. It looks suspiciously like I'm not on the global address list, but I'm about to send off an email to the migration team to see if they can spread any light on that. The other thing I've noticed that on the inbox, when I select inbox, when it boots up, it only brings up mail till October of last year. And I have to go and select all mail before I can see recent mail. Forwarding seemed to work once, but only, I think, because I was in the full email at the time. So there's a few issues there as far as I'm concerned. And the bottom line is that as far as RAYNET email is concerned, I've lost all capability at the moment, but I'm sure it could get sorted. I've been on the web and looked at all the tricks to try and make sure everything works okay, and everything looks in order at my end from what I can see. Got some other items, but I'll do those on the next over. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC. Yeah, I'm not convinced, although I don't use the Gmail client, I use a different one, so I don't expect global address books to work on that. I'm not sure there is a global address book in this one, so haven't looked at that to see whether it will preempt what addresses should be. However, the migration issue and not seeing everything is a little bit more of a worry. But the old email files were being left behind for a while, so I'm sure that can just be pulled back across again one way or another. But yes, do send the email to the migration team and see what rocks out of that. Right, I have my own slight favour to do now. Phil, G4HUF, you're next, and on a test earlier on today, the Cheshire.ctte address that we use for the local resilience forum isn't working, and that had already been reported through to the migration team. So we're chasing that to make sure it gets fixed. G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HF. Right. Okay. Well, thanks for that. As far as the Google system is concerned, I've done my traditional thing, which is to sit back, leave it a few days, and let the rush get sorted. So when it's a bit quieter, go for it. And of course, it's just dawned on me that I didn't get the news on Friday because I haven't done it yet. And normally on a Sunday afternoon I would do a printout of the weekly news to hand over to Rob. However, you might just have to wait this week, bearing in mind the fact that we're feeding in a couple of hours. We're not doing the feeding this week, we did that last week, but I might not have time to get that set up and sorted out before we go out. So that's the first thing to say there. Quick check with Manchester Airport. It's plus 9 degrees here, and wind speed of 22 knots from 270 degrees at the moment, so it's still a bit breezy, but not as bad as it could be. And interestingly, in the local news, there was reports of a tree down in the Trafford area, but I couldn't establish exactly where in Trafford it was. And also a tree or an obstruction on the line between Chester and Piccadilly. And again, couldn't work out or couldn't find out exactly where that was, which was a little frustrating because, you know, being a naturally nosy and curious person, particularly when it comes to the railways. So, what's the score there? Interestingly enough, this week, right place, right time, and I listened to the HF net this week on my 6800, and managed to hear most stations. I didn't make any notes or anything like that, but I did hear it, so that was a step forward, because I've been meaning to do something about that for quite a while. I suppose really what I ought to do now is to dust off the 7300 and get that set up and see what happens there. Because the 6800 is just connected to a length of wire run around the garden. I've got a proper long wire, end-fed long wire for the 7300, but it's never been fired up in anger. It's probably been up for a couple of years, if not longer. So really need to work on that one. And that's all there is from me at the moment. So if you're still awake, I'll pass it back to you. G4C, this is G4HUF.
G4 and RC. Just try that again. So, did note that seed state held back because I wasn't sure it drops off before EEI blipped in then. But the take-up rates were asked for, and I could tell people are being a bit slow, hence the repeat this week, just to make sure it's working, and then we get more data points for figuring out why things like the news isn't reaching Trevor and maybe some others, hence the questioning. Okay, thanks Phil, I'll come back on some of the other stuff in the next round. Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, 2 Zero CMS, yeah, afternoon all. Right, what's been happening in the sort of Kent Midway area lately? On the 24th, we had a voluntary sector capabilities day, where the members of the voluntary sector were able to do presentations to the local resilience forum, which was quite a good day, with the technical groups in the morning. And then after the break, we had the humanitarian ones. We had our big roller banner, which we installed in the room right next to the presentation screen. So every photograph that was taken on any of the groups that were presenting had the RAYNET banner in the background, which was quite good. Apart from that, we were busy last weekend with the mid half marathon, helping out South Kent. That was quite an interesting day as well. The medical teams were kept quite busy with sort of like leg injuries and broken ankles and stuff like that, but all went well. Nobody died, it's always a good thing. And on the email migration, my named email account seems to be working fine. That seems to be sending and receiving everything from that in the RAYNET news. The group controller one doesn't seem to be receiving email at the moment. I've just sent a test message to it, and I've not received the RAYNET news to it, so something's not quite right there, but I am into it, and appreciate it's still on the Outlook one. Final point, just spare a thought for our county controller and controller for West Kent, Colin Bowman, who's currently out on a cruise, and his boat's had to go into Oslo to shelter from Storm Dave, and the waters between sort of Denmark and Norway, the current wind speed's about 51 mile an hour, so they're currently sheltering in port and not being able to get off the ship. Anyway, I think that's it from me. So don't need to come back on the second over. G4 and RC 2E0 CMS.
Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Excuse me. Okay. Yes, in reverse order. Oh, well. If we'd known he was on a cruise around Norway, Hans could have put the welcome banners out, depending on which side he was cruising past. But I always have a look when we have these storms passing over the top of the country. That it usually winds up being Norway next that captures them. Never think that's going to be an issue for one of our own. Okay, on the GC accounts, honestly, no emails should be going into Outlook and Office 365 anymore. So I'm not sure, which is why somebody's got to do some different messaging on this, whether those accounts are to allow just for access to the other services that are there, but all the emails should be as it was before through your named accounts. But hopefully something about that will come out over the next week or so. And well done on getting the RAYNET banner into every possible photo. So yes, nice to get the publicity. Okay, thanks Colin. Enjoy your weekend and showing you out from now. And last on this round then it's Philip. Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar G4 and RC over.
G4, MRC, MI0, MSO. Good afternoon, Craig. Good afternoon, everyone else. Not much to report from here. Storm Dave passed quite peacefully in our time. Very, very slight damage, but nothing major. We had our 1.5 marathon last week, which went very, very well. And the migration, yes. I done the migration or signed up for it a few weeks ago when the first notice came out. And by the time everything migrated, I'd forgotten my password and had to request a password reset, which came through pretty quickly. So all on the Google now, and it's working well. So nothing else to report. So I'll not come back in the next round. Craig, 7-3 for now.
India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar G4 NRC returning. Okay, yes, glad to Storm Dave only gave you slight damage. Half marathons definitely seem to be a thing. I've had my first ping from the Chester Half Marathon organisers about the one we cover for them in next month, which will probably be another net glitch we'll have to deal with. So definitely the season for them, and I noticed on our news from our colleagues in South Africa, Hamnet, that they've just done a couple of half marathons over the last week. So as they're going into their autumn and we're going into our spring, it's perfect running weather at both ends of the Greenwich Meridian. Okay, thanks Philip. Glad everything worked fine and noted you out. So let's go through. We'll just pick up Graham in the usual order as we go through, just so I can keep on time, because if you did hear the dogs in the background, basketball time is looming large. Mike, Gold Base Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC over.
G4 NRC from G8 EY. Glad to hear the dogs enjoy basketball as well then. Yeah, nothing much to add. One thing I would say though, as we're obviously all thinking of forwarding to other emails from Google accounts, don't forget of course that anything that goes into the spam folder that it shouldn't have doesn't get forwarded. So you do have to log into the account properly, at least reasonably occasionally, just to find out what's been lost from. But thanks for running the net, Greg, and have a good match this afternoon from G8 EEY.
Echo Yankee G4 and RC returning. Okay, yes, I'm not thinking of forwarding emails that readily, since I can get everything now onto my my normal Thunderbird accounts or Thunderbird clients. So I've just got about 6 emails on there at the moment, and I'll add the other 2 that need to go on at some point. So I just can see them all, and the way Thunderbird picks it up is it brings me the spam folders as well. So I shouldn't lose anything. I'll say shouldn't rather than couldn't, because there's always a chance. Okay, thanks Mike. Talk to you next weekend. And Stephen, was there anything hanging around for you? Not that I remember. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yeah, the only sort of looming thing was that master request, but there's plenty of time to sort that out between now and then. Provided, as you said last week, we might be playing on the Bolly Skyline Enduro if it if the Scout event falls around that weekend. But we should have to see. I've definitely got the Skyline Enduro marked in the calendar, just to try and keep that weekend free. But we'll see, and we can coordinate on email. So with that, I will hand it back and say 7-3.
Victor Sierra Delta. Yes, thanks for that. It's just got really hectic with the last week of work gone, and I'm now measuring the last hours that have to be done. It's not even a full day on Tuesday. And after that, then I can start wreaking chaos as a voluntary person rather than doing it just for work. And I can play catch up with all these hanging threads like the master request. Okay, thanks Stephen. Talk to you next weekend. And Graham, G7NEH, G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G7NEH. Yeah, okay. First things first. I've also not logged on to Google yet. I will do that later or tomorrow, and get everything set up. And we've had 11 views so far this week, and there's 2 concurrently viewing, and no likes as of yet. So there we go. Okay, not much else to add from me. Thanks for doing the net, Greg, and we'll catch you in the week, no doubt. I'm off tomorrow, and then back in to the normal swing of things on Tuesday, probably like many people. G4NRC, G7NEH.
B7NEH, G4NRC returning. Okay, well, that's fine, but I think Easter weekend does hurt a lot of our net participations. One of the other missions is probably to go back through all the log sheets and see if we have any natural lulls when things die off. But thanks for doing the stream, and as we know, it gets a lot more views through the week, so that's why I reckon the news items will get some reach, even if it's not all people today. I do still have something to drop off with you, as you're aware, and also an FYI, courtesy of birthday presents, the quadbander is now back in service here, so that got tested earlier on today on the Chester Radio Club net and also through the Hat Green SDR. So it's up and working. Just one strange audio report that I've got to deal with. That I couldn't hear anything wrong when I listened through Hat Green, but we shall see. Okay, thanks Graham. 7-3 to you. And Trevor, the things I didn't say was, no, I haven't noticed that new ARDN chat client, but that is one of the many networking things I need to get sorted. I set myself up with a 44net VPN style account, and that made one of the newsletters this week with somebody saying if you want to run web servers and practice doing networking, then getting on the 44net, where you can get your own IP address irrespective of what your internet service provider gives you, would let people do things and amateur stuff in a lot more public way. So, okay, G4KUJ, over to you, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Yep, okay everybody, all noted. Just to go back on Gmail for the moment, all my emails have been downloaded, but it's just that the more recent ones do not show in the inbox. They're in the all mail thing, and all the folders or whatever they call them these days, everything in there I can see. So the transfer seems to have been okay. It's just the access to the rest of the gubbins. But I'll drop a line and see if we can get that sorted out. On the other counts quickly, I've got FL Digi up and running on the Kenwood 590. Just got to customise it now, so that's one step on the box. The Arden Raven mesh chat replacement, I've actually loaded that onto my AC300, AC3 this afternoon, and I can see 5 Turkish stations and 1 Norwegian station node, which I'm not quite sure how I've seen those, because from what I've read so far, I thought I only ought to be able to see nodes that are in our own sort of local mesh. But we'll follow that up. So that's good. If you're out and about and want some data tomorrow, I'm around in the morning, but not from lunchtime onwards. So if there's anything I can do to help there, give me a ping on the normal way. Other than that, enjoy Tuesday, and catch up, no doubt. G4NRC, G4KUJ, and thanks for running the net.
For KUJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, Trevor, thank you for that. If I'm taking HF out tomorrow, it'll be the super light, never likely to see a business trip in a hotel again, stuff of the True STX and a 20-metre whip, so maybe if I'm doing anything it'll be JS8 call on 20 metres. That's what I'd like to be able to run, because it provides me with the messaging functions. I mean, so does FLDigi and FLDigi as well, but we'll see how it flies. Okay, I will get back on Arden, but I do need just to beat the final bugs out of this 44 net tunnel, and then I have some presence back there again, and then I'll just spin up even more networking here. Okay, 7-3's to you, and lost on the net today, it's Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
Is G4HUF. Right, okay. Right, first things first, I didn't realise you were that old, Greg. But not to worry. We'll say no more about that. And the other quick comment that you were referring to our opposite number in South Africa. It won't be long before they're getting, I hope that we're getting a new member. G4DTM, who has been on this net in the past on occasions, is, shall we say, re-emigrating. Or, put it another way, he's going to retire to RSA, and apparently he's already been looking up the paperwork from his old South African call sign to see if he can get it regenerated. So that was the only bit of news to add on to the other comments, and as I say, I'm looking forward to having another bash at least listening to the HF net, although I really ought to get involved and make an effort. I mean, I've had a Class A in old-fashioned terms call sign for some considerable time, but done very little HF operating, and this is a good excuse to do it. Anyway, we're running out of time. I'm going to shut up. 7-3 to everybody on the net, and we'll look forward to the next one. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning. Okay, Phil. Well, we might have something more local to play with HF-wise, given there's an appetite in West Cheshire to maybe do something a little bit more ground wavy than countrywide. And as far as G4BTM joining Hamnet down in South Africa, I'm not sure whether to warn him or just let his reputation precede him in the usual manner. But we'll see. Let us know when things move, and I'll give them the heads up that they're going to win another member. Okay, thanks everybody. I shall pull the plug on this now, so thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedule to participate in this afternoon's net. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net and return to up groups 23531, Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 50 23531 on the RAYNET-UK system, to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4NRC now closing, and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf Zero, Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye-bye.